Smokin' Parade is definitely a manga that I was not expecting it to be, considering it was made by the creators of Deadman Wonderland, one of my personal favorites ever. This time around, the story would be the exact opposite of Deadman Wonderland. The biggest messages here would be about family, loss, and disturbingly enough, destroying the ones you love. And this would all be said in such a unique way. Beginning it all, this manga is very steampunk, with our main character using a rocket fist to fight, letting him crush anything and everything that comes in his way. And fighting him would leave you as a crushed up pile of blood, nothing more and nothing less. And this leaves the horrifying monsters in this series quite unlucky. They would be known as spiders, and they would take the form of mascots that not only kill everything that they come into contact with, but they would live to fuel their own desires. They would be the manifestation of those evil thoughts in the back of everyone's heads. They would do what they want. They would do what we want: to kill, steal, and abuse the world around them. This is where the jackalopes would come in, otherwise known as the black demons. They would exist to hunt down these monsters and purge every last one of them with their very own hands, or lack thereof, because they would actually fight without their arms or legs. These things will be replaced by bow and arrows, gun arms, swords, and so much more. They would be missing essential body parts that would make them human. Like this, functioning in society is impossible. So this would make them inhumans fighting inhumans. Or more accurately, monsters that kill monsters. Now, we've heard of this numerous times. This would even be a theme in my favorite manga, Tokyo Ghoul, but the way they do it in Smokin' Parade separates it from the rest. Of course, all of the jackalopes look like humans, but they would have demon horns, which really make them stand out and question where their morals really lie. Even more so when you understand these characters on a deeper level. They all have their own issues and baggage that make them all similar in one quality. It'd be the very fact that every single last one of them have lost their minds. Undoubtedly, they are insane. Every single one of them has lost their minds, and they would all be aware of this. This is something that is normal in their daily line of work. Killing is another day at the office, and being blood-soaked in sin would be another form of pleasure. This is how their human minds would work, because they're no longer human. And this is the idea that the manga really hits home. Just what exactly makes us human? Is it the darkness that we cling to in our most desperate moments? Or is it the light that we sacrifice ourselves day to day just to protect? Kakujo Yoko would be the worst of them all, and he would also be the protagonist. As a character, he would fight with the idea of being a monster or a human being, never really understanding himself and questioning right from wrong, and learning to accept the reasons as to why he should kill a person. There would be a mascot dressed up as a firefighter, and of course, he would come across as a good guy, saving lives and saving people from fires. But this same mascot is one of the very monsters that they would have to hunt down and kill. Yoko would think twice about killing this monster because he could be a good guy. Unfortunately, he would come to realize that he couldn't be more wrong. They would watch this monster in action, and rather than saving lives, he would still just try to kill them. Yoko would still just be a naive boy. And in the end, a monster is still just that, a monster. Believing in anything different would only get you killed. This would be the sad reality of Smokin' Parade. And if our main character here is a monster who also hunts other monsters, what exactly does that make him? As if it wasn't already clear, there are always two sides to one coin. And outside of being eaten by terrible monsters, there's the ongoing struggle of losing your limbs and living to try and deal with that. And the best way of dealing with this problem would be a Minotauri. They would be a super corporation that specializes in human body transplants. And as we all know, businesses are usually corrupt, so you should only expect nothing but the worst out of them. They can give people a new arm, a new leg, a new eye, anything that they need at a specific moment. Now, the surgery sounds way too good to be true. This same corporation that would be saving lives is undoubtedly ruining them, because these transplants that people are getting are the same thing, creating all of these mascot monsters running around killing people. A Minotaur would cut off the limbs of illegal immigrants and turn it into a profit. You gotta love science. And really, they would show no mercy. They would open up and dissect a person's body, taking all of their ribs, eyes, or any other precious organs that they need just to survive. Now, how is such a corrupt corporation so successful? They would play it all off through lies. They would claim that they're using cloning technology and making new limbs for a person specifically out of their cells, but that is the furthest thing from the truth. If you're missing an arm, they would go and steal another person's arm just to let you have one. What you gained was ultimately something someone else lost. And the human atrocities just don't stop here. They would bring the dead back to life. And this would open all of the closed wounds that our characters in this manga had to experience from the past, forcing them to kill the same people that they love. And every single person that they knew alongside a few others would form a group called Shikagura, which is owned by a Minotaur, which creates a really deep sewn relationship between the Jackalopes and Shikagura, because despite how it seems, both of these groups would act and function as a family, although they're inhuman. They have one human quality that makes them all so similar. They would all love and respect each other inside of their groups. And both the Jackalopes and Shikagura would kill each and every last member of their families, which starts a war between the two. The Jackalopes would have mechanical arms that would replace all of the body parts that they lost, yet Shikagura would have all their cells mutated, and so they would be taken in the exact opposite directions when it comes to their approaches on preserving humanity, making these groups more or less the same. We would have Akuta going up against a member of Shikagura that he knows all too well. That member would be his best friend that he grew up fighting and surviving with. Akuta would have to kill someone that was practically his brother once again. But why? Is it simply because he's a corporate slave to a Minotaur and fulfilling their bidding? No, the reason would be much deeper than that. Like I said, Gagara and Akuta would have been the best of friends, brothers even. Before being brought back to life by a Minotaur, Gagara was originally a blind man, and the only thing that he ever wanted to see was his best friend, just so he could know who the person closest to him was. He would get an eye transplant, even after knowing that it would turn him into a monster. Yet he would risk it all just to see what Akuta looked like. And before turning into a monster, Akuta would take his life. Which brings us to the both of them fighting right now. And Gagara, much like the monsters in this series, would live by his own desires. And what Gagara desires, more than anything else, is to kill Akuta with his own hands. You would think this would be because Akuta killed him in the past, but there's so much more. This story tells us everything about human nature and the truth about what we want. Gagara would tell Akuta that he would do everything he can to fulfill his desire to fight Akuta to the death. And Akuta would say that he knows. He knew exactly why, and he would want to kill him again. And the two would finally face off to kill each other. There's a reason why they're fighting, and why Gagara wants to kill Akuta, the man he respects above anything else. He would want to kill him because he loves him, which is why Akuta would be willing to fight him back. He would also share that same love for his best friend. They kill each other because they love each other. They love each other because deep down, they hate each other. Because hate and love, just like the Jackalopes and Shikagura, are the same. When you love something deep down, it would only be natural to hate it, and vice versa. Whatever you love and whatever you hate becomes a part of who you are, which is why Gagara would desire to kill Akuta. As friends, they would fight in sync, and they would share the same identity. They make each other who they are, which is why they love each other enough to kill each other. Their lives belong to no one else but them. And every character here would feel this same exact way. A child would be abused by his father on a day-to-day basis, and no one would do anything to stop it, except for one woman named Midori, because she would love this child. When attempting to stop this abuse, she would be completely shocked, because she would see this same child that was being abused, abusing his own father. This child would abuse his father the same way his father abused him, because his father, much like Akuta and Gagara, would have became a part of him. He loved his father, and so he would enact this same abuse. But unfortunately, his own dad would become a monster, and he would torment this monster to his heart's content. Which is worse, a child that can torture a monster, or a grown man that can torture a child? Midori would kill this child's father because he's a monster, but she would let this dirty child live because she would want to save his soul. After having his dad killed, he would hate Midori because he loved his father, and he would finally get his clutches and his revenge by capturing Midori and then torturing her. He hated her, so he would end up torturing her, but in truth, he actually loved her because he loved his father, and now he is torturing her because he loves her, the same way his father loved him. All of their actions of hatred are a byproduct of love. Good and evil, love and hate are all the same. And this is what this manga is all about. Members of Shikagura and members of Jackalope would continue to die, and they would kill each other between both of these groups because they loved their family members. Their love for their family would create hatred that would cause them to kill members of another family until everyone is left with nothing. Everyone in this manga is insane because they're inhuman, or more accurately, they should be insane because they're human. Which brings us back to Yoko Kakujo. He would specifically say, like I could call myself human if I didn't stand up for my own family. Even so, sticking up for your family is something any normal human being would do. But this causes every character in this manga to do inhuman things, such as killing or torturing another person. What about our main character? What exactly is he? Is he human, inhuman, or just a monster? He would save his family and kill his own family. So what makes him a human being? This character would be born straight from a cold, dead laboratory, making him anything but a human being. Throughout the story, he would only pretend to be a human being, mocking everyone's qualities and simply blending in with other humans, battling, struggling, and trying to cope with his identity. Unlike anyone else, when an opportunity to kill comes, he's the first one moving, without a second thought, letting him kill monsters and walk away with a smile on his face. Is it really okay to let someone that isn't a human being live as a human being? Where do we humans draw the line? Just like the firefighter, he is saving lives, but in the end, he is a monster. And our main character is just like him, only he actually looks like a human being. What makes a monster a human, and what makes a human a monster? This is exactly why you need to read this manga. It'll make you think about good and evil. Think about everything that you lost. And most importantly, human nature, our relationships, and the family that comes with it. Smokin' Parade is easily one of the most underrated mangas I've ever seen, and it is a complete sin and a half, that very fact that this doesn't have an anime yet. But after watching this video, I hope you all give it a read and possibly learn why you should exist and why, no matter what issues and baggage are within, they're there for a reason and come from the right places, regardless of how wrong they are. I hope you enjoyed this video, and right now I'm going to show you a lot more manga that you need to definitely check out. Check out these videos if you liked this one, and I promise you, you won't be sorry. Thank you for watching.